everybody. A warm welcome to another interview on Wisdom from North. I'm Jannike, and today it is such a joy for me to be here with Anja Vintov. Anja is a Danish, highly respected teacher, and she has been studying flow, fear, and courage for 20 years. And she has inspired thousands of people to create better lives for themselves. She's also a mother, an entrepreneur, and an author of the books Everyday Courage, Hverdagsmot, and The Cure Against Fear, Kuren mot frykt. And she's also one of our masterclass teachers on Wisdom from North membership. And today we will be focusing on fear. Hello, Anja. How are you doing today?
I'm fine, thank you. Thank you. A little bit wobbly. We have a lot of stuff going on in the house these days. But I'm so happy to be here, and I will do whatever I can to stay present.
Beautiful. I mean, life happens all the time, right?
Yes, it does. It does.
And that's where it's so good, I find, to have some tools that we can use and some techniques. Yeah. And Anja, I love working with you because I think that you are focusing on a topic and subjects that I haven't discovered so much in other teachers. You really delved into fear, which is such a huge topic and something we all are dealing with. It can completely sabotage us. It can hold us back. And I learned through Neil Donald Walsh that the main two emotions we have is fear and love. And for me, I feel like fear has been a lot in the shadow. So I was very interested to work more with you on this. So we have actually decided to have a live webinar where we will really go into depth about fear. And I want to mention to everybody who's watching, this live webinar will be totally free for you to participate in. And you can sign up in the link below if you watch this on YouTube, or the link above if you're watching on Facebook. And it will be the 24th of November, 8 p.m. set time. And if you cannot make it, just sign up anyway, because then you can get the replay right after. And there we will move into the secret language of fear, how to spot it in your everyday life, and how actually fear can show you how you can become more of you and actually your hidden potential. And you're also, Anja, you're going to make it a bit like interactive. You're going to have an exercise as well, right?
Yes, yes. We will dig into how our bodies can help us actually decode how fear is running our lives and what to do about it.
Right. Yeah. I'm very excited about that myself. So a warm welcome to this webinar. Now, Anja, why are you so fascinated and passionate about teaching about fear? Like, where did this come from in you?
Actually, the short answer is that I used a big part of my life, I think the first at least 20, 25 years, ignoring my fear, pretending that I could do anything, be anything. I wasn't afraid of anything. And yet I was like a shell. I wasn't me. I was just trying to be likable and sweet and helpful and ambitious. I was trying to be everything at once. And actually I was feeling very insecure, but I was hiding it behind some kind of facade or some kind of image, a self-image that I would really like to have about myself. But on the inside, I was not feeling good at all. So my passion, of course, comes from the fact that I went through a lot of ordeals, and we will be talking a bit more about that, not about my ordeals, but the ordeals that we all go through, and how we can be much more wiser about ourselves when we take fear by the hand. And try to be curious about how it runs our lives. So my passion is also because I find out that it's the biggest portal to love. Fear is actually not the opposite of love. Fear is just a big part of our minds and bodies trying to protect us. But it's actually also the gateway to expansion, the gateway to a much bigger life if we learn to deal with the feeling fear, with the discomfort that fear shows us and appears in our bodies. So it's just such a huge life companion. I mean, it's there anyway. So bringing it into light and being willing to share your life with your fear, that just makes a whole lot difference in your everyday life. Yeah, it makes everything much more fun.
It's so interesting that you're saying that, because you're speaking so positively about fear. And that is like not my experience. And that's why I feel like I really need this, and a lot of other people need this. And I know my members on Wisdom from North membership was really interested in learning about this, because it kind of feels like it is in the shadow for me. I have even fear about fear, like fear of feeling fear. And I think perhaps many people can identify with that. It's paralyzing, and I actually don't want to feel it. And you're saying you even have a workshop, fall in love with your fear. And I'm like, is that really possible? but Anja, how has that changed your life?
Oh my God, in so many ways. First of all, I think it's a sensation. I mean, there are all the results, and me having this business that I've been building on for 20 years. I have a life that I'm thriving in. I can be me in every part of my life. I'm not pretending anymore. I'm not trying to be something that I'm not. And that in itself just gives an inner peace that everything will turn out okay in the end. I mean, it just gives you a peace in your everyday life. Then, even though I have a sick child right now, and I have a lot of stuff going on, and I have a lot of things that I'm responsible for, I'm not afraid of it. I kind of, with acknowledging my fear came so much trust in life that I wasn't even aware that it was possible to trust life that much.
Wow.
And trust me. Because when I suppressed my fear, not acknowledging that part of me, I was not letting life run through me, because that is what life is supposed to do. It's supposed to run through us. We're not supposed to stand in the way. So when something called for my attention, or if an idea came up, or I was like, oh no, that's not good, or am I good enough, or whatever. So the minute that, not the minute, but through the years, when I found out that some form of life just wants to run through me, and if I'm able to let it, then life will unfold. Then we do whatever we have to do in our lives, and life is playing along with us. It might sound a little bit woo-woo, but it's not. I promise that it's very practical. Dealing with fear is a very practical thing, actually. It's what you say, it's what you do, it's what you allow yourself to be, do, and have. It's worthiness, actually. Are you completely embracing the fact that you are worthy of the life that you've been given? And do you act like that? Or do you hide, or pretend, or suppress yourself?
Deep questions. And we hear a lot, or I've heard a lot, I should say, face your fear, meet it. So what is your take on that? Should we really face our fear, do what we're most fearful of? Or in a sense, well, I guess we should not try to get rid of it and ignore it, but should we face it, like meet fear in a sense, and do what we're afraid of?
Just seeing your body language, do it, face it. It's kind of rough, right? And that is how we mostly go about fear. No, we do it, and it's like, oh, and then you're all. It just creates so much tension. So no, we shouldn't get rid of it. We should use it, because it's a force. It's a life force. So getting rid of that life force would be a very big mistake. But starting to just be curious about, what is fear in my life? How is it a driving force in my life? How is it influencing my emotional state, my physical state, my spiritual state, my mental state? What part does fear play in my life? Just starting there, just being curious, like you're curious of a new friend, or your child or animal, whatever. Being curious, like it was a person you're trying to get to know better, instead of I'm facing you. just ease up a little bit, but then still don't ignore it, because children or pets or people who are ignored tend to create a whole lot of chaos. So we all want to be acknowledged for who we are, and fear wants to be acknowledged as well.
It's so interesting. It comes back again and again. Observe and be present with.
Yeah.
Not try to get rid of anything.
It's the same as getting rid of a part of you. I mean, you can just imagine how much strength we need to suppress energy. And fear is an energy, like a lot of other stuff.
Do you think that the more we focus on fear, the more it will grow also? When it comes to what we focus on will grow?
Everything we focus on grows. But when we need to learn something, we need to make it grow a bit. If I am to learn riding my new bike with 20 gears or something, I need to focus on the gears. I need to focus on my new bike, because before I had a bike with 3, and now I have one with 20. It's just an example. I don't ride a bike, but anyway. So I need to focus on that in order to learn the skills. So I can't really learn about fear if I'm not willing to learn the dynamics of fear. How does it react in our system? How does it play out? How am I reacting? And what is my primary reaction when I get frightened or worried? We used to call fear worry, or we have a tendency of calling fear worry. So we can't really learn how to master things if we're not willing to feel it and to get close to it. How can I, if I'm afraid to be honest towards you or somebody, how can I learn to be honest if I'm not willing to feel the fear that is holding me back from being honest? You understand? So I'm not saying that we should focus on fear. Or I mean, I do, and I'm not dead. But we need to make it as much as a valid feeling as every other feelings. In that way, it doesn't become so frightening. Then it's just fear. I mean, it's just fear. It's just fear.
I love learning about this. I feel so helpful. I've been wondering about something. Maybe you can help me with that. And I actually discussed this with a lawyer because I have worked in this law.
Fear of lawyers. No.
And he said that he was driven by fear. He's very successful, and he needed that fear to become successful. He wanted that fear. What do you think about that? Like running a project with fear, with like not being good enough, having to, for instance, I'm going to prove to my father, that I'm good enough. So you become a success to prove something, or to prove some lack, or you're afraid of not having enough money. So you create a success because the drive is so.
There is so many results and so much success that are created because of fear. So you can create so many great results on fear. What you need to pay attention to is that, does it work for me in the long run? Because when we have proven our worth to daddy or mommy or whatever, then what I experienced that at some point in life, we run out, because that is not the most healthiest driving force. But when we have proven ourselves to the world and to mom and dad and all that, what do we want? what is closest to our hearts. If it's not driven by the fear of being good enough or enough, then what do we really want to do with our lives? And in my experience, some other answers come through. So I'm not saying that we shouldn't create things out of fear. Being afraid of being ill, for example, can make you eat healthy or get enough sleep or whatever. People who's been really stressed out and very ill because of that, they don't want to end up there. But if they only focus on not ending up ill again, they will forget focusing on, okay, so I don't want that, but what do I want? Mm-hmm. So we need to have both ends of the stick. I don't want to be a failure. Okay, but what do I want then? Then I want to create that or do that, or because fear has a tendency, if we are not aware of it, to make us focus on what we don't want. So we just need both. What do I don't? What am I afraid of? Or what do I not want? Okay, duck, 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 duck. And then what do I want? Because there comes the motion, the actions, the how, what to do, how to do it, what to be, what to have, or whatever. There's another motion in that. If we just focus on what we don't want, it creates, I'm not saying all the time, but a lot of the times it can create a distance between our deepest truth and what we need to prove. But it's a journey, right? It's a journey. I mean, I've been shit scared of not being good enough at some stuff, and I created great results. I just wasn't happy. It wasn't fulfilling for me. I couldn't feel me because I was always trying to prove something for other people. And instead of finding out what is good for me. And there is a difference.
And also,
there is also a difference, there's also a difference in how fast we do things. There is something about the tempo. Because when we run on fear, we can get very fast in whatever we do, or we can get numb, right? But when we run on integrity, what is important for me? What am I willing to risk in order to lead this life that is meaningful for me? Then the tempo is another. Then we get more at ease in our own bodies because we're willing to kind of feel ourselves all the time. We're ready. We are willing to meet our, okay, it gets a little bit, you know what I mean, right? You know what I mean. Okay.
Yes, well, I think it's very interesting that you're saying that when we work very fast, because we've been speaking about this in my membership, when we never allow ourselves to rest, we're actually running on fear because we don't trust.
Yeah. So why shouldn't we rest? We need rest. We need restitution. We need rest. We need to chill out. We need all that stuff. That is that is one of the most important rules for having a physical body. So if we don't allow ourselves to do that, we are running on lack. And lack is intertwined with fear. The fear of not having enough or being enough or whatever. So having enough time.
Right. And here is where I feel that what you have been studying, courage and flow and fear go together, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
It does, because when we're willing to see what we're afraid of, and being and training the courage, because courage is like a muscle; it needs to be trained. And being courageous enough to see, okay, I'm afraid to. What can we be afraid of? Name something. I'm afraid. Let's find an example.
I'm afraid.
Okay,
traveling alone, perhaps. I'm afraid of coming out with my blog. I'm afraid of people will speak ill of me. Who do you think you are.
So when we're afraid, when we're afraid of people speaking ill about us, that's so common, or whatever they might think when we step out. Then if we let fear run the show, then we don't post the blog, or we don't create our business, or whatever. And then we're kind of rejecting ourselves. So fear is making us rejecting ourselves, even though we were actually fearing rejection of others. Right. Then we end up rejecting ourselves. So that is kind of the mystery of rejection, because we're all afraid of rejection. It comes from way back in our childhood and being babies and all that. So that is so natural for a human being to be afraid of rejection. But if we're not aware of how fear is holding us back from just being who we are, then we will, even though we think we're not letting fear of rejection run the show, we are, because we are rejecting ourselves. We're rejecting our dreams, our passions, our longings, our wishes, our whatever is calling us or calling within us. We reject that. And when we reject that, then our lives are shrinking. Then we don't take up the space that we're here to take up, or we're here to fill up. And I'm not talking about, oh, go live your purpose, or I'm actually not talking about the big stuff. I'm not just talking about not rejecting how we feel and what we need and what we think. Just not rejecting the everyday stuff. Because when we start to embrace that, then we are more present with our fear. And then life expands.
Powerful. And I think it's also very linked to self-love, because when you're not...
It is, yeah, because how do we love ourselves? We do that by not rejecting whatever we are, whatever we are. I mean,
right.
That is our biggest challenge, I think, just allowing ourselves to be who we are, or who we think we are at this time. Allowing whatever is coming up as being important to us. Yeah.
Beautiful. I can't wait for this webinar, Anja. But we will.
No, I'm looking so much forward to it.
And I'm so grateful that you've studied this, gone into depth about these topics.
It was actually just self-help, that's how it started. I just wanted to help me.
Yeah.
So it's just I'm so grateful today that what has helped me is helping a lot of other people. But that's how it is. When we go through pain and we share it with each other, we're just helping and inspiring. It's a very simple formula, actually.
Yes, I agree.
So just go through your fears and go through your pain, and then share it with others, and you will help people grow.
Yeah.
And be wherever they are.
It kind of seemed like a law in the universe that, when we transform and share it with others, then we can help others transform as well. I mean, we are independent of each other. We are so connected.
Yeah, we are. And it's the most beautiful thing is that all we're here to learn is actually just to be who we already are. It's so tragic and comic and everything at the same time. So if we just go do you, and then that will always be enough for some reason.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Anja. I can't wait for the 24th.
You're welcome.
And all the best in your life right now, whatever is going on.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much for showing up today.
Thank you.
And thank you so much for watching this. And I hope to see you the 24th of November, totally free. And the link is in the video description if you watch this on YouTube. Thank you again. Much light from Denmark and Norway. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hi everybody, thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, please subscribe and click the thumbs up and click the bell in order to get notifications of my new videos. Now I also have a free gift for you. If you want to become a conscious co-creator, you can click on my free meditation below called Meet Your Future Self, where you have the possibility to co-create with the highest future version of you.